Hello everybody, this is Gregory with 5-Minute Catholic Apologetics and Living, where 5 minutes of your time may get you to the divine. Today we're going to talk about two basic simple truths that if you grasp this, you don't need to know the catechism and every dogmatic doctrinal teaching of the church. You should just come to the Catholic faith just for these two basic principles. Now before we begin, let's start with a prayer. Nomine Patris et Filii et Spiritui Sancti. Amen. Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto. Sic in principio et nunc et semper et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. I'm upstairs here. I got family visiting. That's why I wanted to get a little quieter, so you might hear some voices in the background. So there's two basic simple truths that I think if you understand this, you don't need to know all the faiths. A lot of converts or a lot of Protestants feel like they need to know every aspect of the faith. You'll say, like, I need a book that has every dogmatic doctrinal teaching of the faith before I can make a decision. And I think sometimes it's more of a question of just understanding two basic principles. And then once you understand these two basic principles, then you're in, and then you'll learn the teachings, but it's not as important because you already know these two frameworks. And I think the best way, and I talked about it, I wouldn't say it's the best way, but I talked about it previously. Ask Siri or Echo who founded the fill-in-the-blank church. And it's always a man.
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, the first portable charger was made in 2013 by David...
Echo, cancel. There you go. So if you ask these things, they're going to say a man founded it. We can do it right now. Echo, who founded the Catholic Church?
Here's something I found on Wikipedia. The Catholic Church teaches that it is the continuation of the early Christian community established by Jesus Christ.
Echo, stop. Echo, who founded the Calvinist Church?
The founder of Calvinist Christianity is commonly considered to be John Calvin.
Echo, stop. So if you look at any book, you can find books or just anything online or printed, all the different Christian denominations, you'll see that they were all founded by a man. They were all founded by a man. Presbyterianism was John Knox. Anglicanism, of course, was Henry VIII. Mormonism is Joseph Smith, and the list goes on. And there's only two churches that can really say that they were founded by Jesus Christ, and that's the Catholic Church and then the Schismatic Orthodox. That's it. So Jesus Christ gave the keys to Peter. Whatever you bound is bound, and so forth. And so Jesus Christ founded the church. Once you understand that, then you know that any teachings that emanate from the Catholic Church have the approval on faith and morals, have the approval from Christ. Because Christ says, I will be with you until the end of the age. The gates of hell will never prevail. Whatever you bind is bound. Whatever sins you retain or retain, or whatever sins you've forgiven are forgiven. He gives these powers to Peter and to the early apostles. So on faith and morals, he's never going to leave the church. The other basic principle is apostolic succession. You can look, you can find this. We have unbroken succession from Peter. Peter, Linus, Anacletus, Clement, and we go on and on and on and on, 266. Unbroken. Yeah, there were some times that there was an interregnum, a few years where we didn't have anybody because there was a lot of upheaval, and we talked about this in the various history episodes. And yes, there have been some anti-popes or false popes, but we have an unbroken line from Peter. Christ gave Peter the keys. This is a reference to Isaiah 22, the ministerial keys. So we have from Peter all the way to Francis. So whatever your opinion is of the current pope or the next pope or previous popes, we've had some pretty bad popes. We have unbroken line. And so if you look at the early church, the first century Christian church, they were teaching the faith based on what? The apostles, what the apostles had told them through oral tradition, and some of that was written down. We have the Bible. The next generation, what were they taught by? The first generation, who taught them everything that the apostles taught them. The third generation was taught by the second generation, by the first generation. And you can go all the way for 2,000 years. Unbroken. The Catholic teachings today are the same teachings, albeit some of them fleshed out, like the Trinity. It clearly is referenced in the Bible, but it's not fleshed out. You don't find the word Trinity in the New Testament. But the teachings of the Catholic Church today, you can all find either in the Bible, New Testament, sacred oral tradition, from which the Bible comes out of, And also early church writers, the apostolic fathers, the church fathers. Cardinal Newman, famous convert, 19th century, said, those who read history cease to be Protestant. Because you'll see, when you read the Didache, Clement of Rome, Hippolytus, Tertullian, Origen, Augustine, Justin Martyr, Ignatius of Antioch, whoever, there's tons of these guys. You'll see that the early church was very Catholic. You can say Orthodox as well to a certain extent, but Catholic in its nature. So once you understand these two basic principles, that the only Christian church on this planet that can say that it was founded by Jesus Christ and actually mean it, because you'll hear, and we have episodes here, oh, there was a mass apostasy. Okay, well, you tell the person who tells you that, like the Mormons, well, show me when. You can't, because in every period of every century, we have Christian writers who are writing about the Christian faith. And you can see that there was a consistency, a deposit of faith that never veered. It was always the same. There was no apostasy. But once you establish that Jesus Christ founded the church, and once you establish that and believe that he gave Peter authority over this church and his successors over the church, and that he protects the church from error, and until time, the gates of hell will never prevail. You understand that, and you understand that he's actually done that because we're the longest institution of human history, the Catholic Church. There's no institution in the world that has lasted continuously longer than the Catholic Church. So Christ is not a liar. Christ said, I'll protect you. Yeah, there'll be ups and downs because the church is founded. The church is full of men, right? So if the church is full of men, there's going to be good men and bad men, the wheats and the weeds. But he backed up what he said. And the church still exists today, and the church will exist to the end of time. So once you understand these two basic principles, then you're in. And then, yeah, you can go read the Catechism. You can learn about the communion of saints and transubstantiation and hypostatic union and, all these things about that makes the Catholic faith so deep. There's so much there, lives of the saint and all these things. That's great. You can fill it in. But once you understand these two basic principles, and no other church can say that, unbroken from Peter, then you're in. Guys, post in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care. God bless and pray.